Believe in yourself. Anyone, just simply say, I can, and try to become a better player. Believing in yourself is very, very important. Now, I would like to tell you some simple things that have taken me all over the world to a drawing match with the Grandmaster, to more than 1,000 exhibitions, and one of the highest ratings ever obtained anywhere in the country. These are simple things which you can do. Would you please say, touch? Would you please say, touch? Would you please say, touch? Could you scream it out a little bit louder?
Touch.
For the rest of your life, whenever you play a game of chess, touch. Would you touch my hand, please? Hit my hand. Give it a good slap. How about this one? Give it a good slap. Touch. Would you please say, touch? For the rest of your life, no matter what anyone tells you, if you play a speed chess game, an offhand game, it's beneath your dignity. Whenever you touch a piece, slightly, even slightly, force yourself to move it. Play, touch, move. Thus, whenever your mind does the work, that's it. You never take a move back under any circumstance. That's one. The second principle is this: play until checkmate. Here is my great secret of chess. Many people, many chess teachers make this mistake, not me. Never resign until you're a very strong master. If your two queens are working a knight down, never resign. Always play every game until checkmate, to learn how the pieces move about. So, touch, move, and never resign. Always play to the end. Now, when you're a very strong master, you won't need my advice as to when you might want to decide to resign. Okay, these are two things I've told you. And now, the great tip. The great tip. I always carry, whenever I come, a pen. A pen, it writes. Would you please say, write? A pen, it writes. Here's the key. Every game you play, whenever you can, write the moves down. You don't want a record of your errors or stupidity. You will find yourself playing much better if you write your moves down on paper. Grandmaster Evans, who has published more than 300 of my letters over 40 years in Chess Life and Review and made me world famous and kept my career alive when nothing was happening in my life. Grandmaster Evans told me that he wrote down every single game he's ever played in serious play, every one. So this is a tremendous advantage to have, because you could take your games and compare them with theory. And now we have one more thing. I'm talking to you now about chess. The great secret of chess is in study, is to look at books where the master talks to you. Annotated master games. Annotated master games. Games where the chess master says, if I played knight to e5, he would attack my king with bishop takes f2, check, etc. You want to have annotated master games where the master talks to you. Anything else isn't worth your time. So annotated master games. And now I'm privileged to present to you the greatest tip that you will ever get in your life. More than 3 million people have hit on my webpage at Chess Lab to read the advice I'm giving you. In more than 1,000 exhibitions all over the world, in 46 states and 9 countries, I've recommended only one thing for you to read. You are looking at the greatest chess book of all time. Logical Chess, Move by Move. The greatest chess book of all time, period. This book takes you by the hand and says, don't worry if you're losing 50 games, 100 games, don't worry, help is on the way. This book is a killer. This book gives you 33 games by masters with a comment after every single move of white and every single move of black. It will knock you silly. This is the greatest chess book of all time. It was published in 1957, and I knew the man, Mr. Chernev, before he died. He told me that he took 10 years to write the book, and this publisher had paid him for the book and had forgotten that they paid him. The book took so long to get there, they didn't even know that he was bringing it in. And on a winter day, in 1957, when his children were going to college, he came to his publisher and brought this book to his publisher. On the way back on the subway in New York, he told me that he felt like his life was over because he knew that he had written the greatest chess book of all time. This is the book that put Irving Chernev in the Hall of Fame for all time, and it will live forever. He takes you by the hand and says, don't worry. If you know nothing about chess, you will become tremendous if you just keep reading my comments after every move. 33 games by masters. Every move of every game is explained for you. I wrote the book. In the back, I would simply like you to know that I have 2 pages. I fought the publisher tooth and nail to get this in. I told them, don't send this book anywhere I won't promote this book unless this page for you is in there. At the last second, they put it in because they knew I meant business. The chess world at your fingertips. My recommendation, the best of the best. You will find my recommendations, how to get better. 2 books for the opening, 2 books for the middle game, and 2 books for the end game. And you will find my recommendation, Logical Chess Move by Move by Irving Chernev. The greatest chess book of all time, Acers, contains 33 instructive games with a comment after every single move. This book is selling all over the world. It's exploding all over the world. It is the Italian Gambit system. Remember, look for the 2 pages in the back. I wanted something unique for you and my appearance tomorrow in New Orleans at a book signing that you would never forget. The move that I remember for all time. One move of all the millions of moves that have flashed in front of me in all the places that I have been. One move I will never forget. His name was Frank J. Marshall. M-A-R-S-H-A-L-L. Frank J. Marshall. He wrote a book called Chess Masterpieces. It was published in 1928. He lived from 1877 to 1944. He died the year that I was born. He won first at Cambridge Springs International Tournament 1904, Nuremberg 1906, and he ended chess in Havana, Cuba in 1913. He ended international chess tournaments. This great man, fierce fighter, great, deeply loved person, and great chess theorist, Frank J. Marshall, went to new places, new faces, everywhere in the world. And he went to Havana in 1913, and he played Jose R. Capablanca and many other grandmasters, and in the final round, from a hopelessly lost position, swindled the great Capablanca and outplayed him and got a win and won the international tournament in Havana. No international chess tournament was ever held in the next 30 years while Capablanca lived. He stunned the whole world by finishing ahead of Capablanca in 1913. He played the move that I will never forget. It is not a queen sacrifice or a brilliant move, it is a little move. And it occurred in this book, which was published in 1928. Frank J. Marshall was looking at a game played by Dr. Edward Lasker, a very famous chess writer, who was playing the black pieces. And playing white is Carlos Torre, who was Louisiana state champion in 1919, a legendary Mexican grandmaster. This was the last game he ever played in international play. And Torre played knight to f3, and black played pawn to d5. And Torre struck the center with pawn to c4, trying to undermine the center. And now, one of my favorite defenses. Dr. Edward Lasker simply destroyed white's center, a move that is almost never played today. Normally, it's just pushing the pawn straight ahead. In this position, Grandmaster Torre played here with the knight to get the pawn back. And the game is very interesting, and now comes the kind of play I absolutely love. High-class theoretical play. Black opens up here and gets active piece play while white is operating on the side of the board, about an equal game. Now, one of the ideas is, if you take the pawn off the board, I'll take the knight, and if you should take here, my queen will come to this square, attacking your knight and this rook down here at a1. Oh, that's highfalutin stuff. Black plays, bishop takes a3, Dr. Edward Lasker. He plays this, Judge Knight. In this position, naturally, you do not play pawn takes bishop at a3, allowing the queen to come here with a tremendous shot. This is already played. He took the pawn, bishop takes knight, and if pawn takes bishop, the queen will come here to d4, attacking the knight and the rook at a1. Naturally, Grandmaster Torre sees all of this, and here's his little intermezzo, in-between move. Queen to a4 check. He will get the piece back without disturbing his pawn structure. He now threatens the bishop and the king. In 1931, Dr. Edward Lasker just played for simple equality by just moving his knight here. Now, you've got to exchange pieces before you take the bishop back with about an equal game. The move that black plays is right up my alley, rock and roll. Very direct, powerful play, pawn to b5. If you take the pawn, I will put a pawn here and keep you from doing anything about this bishop. And it gets very interesting. Naturally, Grandmaster Torre doesn't worry about taking the pawn, but instead just takes the bishop back. He now has a good, solid position with 2 bishops and so on, but is a little backward in the center. Now, I love the way Dr. Edward Lasker continues in this game. Well, he says, what about just getting a piece out? And so he plays, he could try bishop to b7 if he wants. And there are many other ways that he could play. In this position, Grandmaster Torrey played pawn to b6, b3, and now comes queen to d6. I love this simple classical play in the center. You attack the knight, and you're getting exchanges, and black has a very good game. Now, in this position, Torrey says, well, I won't worry about anything. The game is perfectly okay. And I'll put a bishop in the center. In this Chicago 1926 game, Grandmaster Torrey now faced Edward Lasker's move, pawn to f6. After evicting the knight, there will be an exchange of queens. Queen takes queen, pawn takes, knight to f3, pawn takes pawn, and then Torrey shifted the knight in the center with extremely interesting play. But black's position is solid, and Dr. Edward Lasker went on to win a fabulous game. I will never forget this position as long as I live. It is the one that I remember more than any other. Because you see, 2 years later, the old man Lasker in his house, in his Marshall chess club, looked at the game that won him the Chicago International 1926 tournament. He was at the end of his career. He won games against grandmasters all over the world for half a century. The great Frank J. Marshall looked at this game in the quiet of his study. And he looked at this position where pawn to f6 was played with a good game. And out of nowhere, the grandmaster found what no one had found for 2 years all over the world. Pawn to c3 wins a piece and the game, boom, like that. This great grandmaster who invented all kinds of marvelous opening ideas for fighting tournament play and almost never finished out of the money and had 5 international appearances in Europe, found this amazing move, which wins a piece in the game right now. If you play bishop takes pawn, I'll take your queen off the board. If you play pawn takes here, I'll take your knight. And if you play queen takes queen, I'll take here with my pawn, and your knight and your bishop will both be attacked. This is a grandmaster. And he says at the bottom, here we have an extraordinary position, as it is evident that both Torrey and Lasker must have overlooked the fact that the simple but powerful move, pawn to c3, would have won a piece for black, exclamation point. And so I wanted to show you the move that I remember more than any other from the great grandmaster Frank J. Marshall. And there's one more thing I want to tell you. Thank you very much.